computer, then I put it to our drive. Okay. So hi everybody who's watching that in the future. We are here with Justin to discuss the current state of summary of the imports. And we have it. Yeah. Let's see how it looks now. So if we go to the if we go to the new where we start the imports, so we have possibility to import the group and to import the project. So let's go to this page.
Okay, let me just start from the top then. If you click on new group, right, obviously you can create and then you can import, right? And here you put in your GitLab URL and your personal access token. And since we're sharing, this is what the URL will look like. The token will be something secret. And then you arrive on this page, right? And so it's a kind of similar process for groups, for projects. Let's say I want to create a new project and I select import project. I can select GitHub, Bitbucket, but our main focus is really around GitHub. And you see a similar table here. Although, just to be clear, these are two separate pages, right? They have different functionality. Some components are shared, but overall they're mostly different.
Yeah, to take maybe a step back, why there's like if you can import if you want at the moment to be able to the import of the group is only possible between GitLab instances. So therefore, when you go to new group, it shows you import group from import groups from GitLab, exactly, because there is no other option. You cannot import group from Bitbucket or GitHub or any other place. It's only from GitLab. So,
yes.
Okay. So then, and so here on this kind of like on the page when you can start the import, there's also a little summary, let's say. I mean, at least the status of the last import that ran for particular source group. So the status is timeout, complete, failed, not started, but there is no, on this page, there is no more information. If something failed or timeout, there is no additional details on this page. Okay. However, when we go to history page.
Sorry, history page. Okay, here.
Yes, when we go to the history page for the group, yes, that's the history page for the group. We have more details for the projects that failed. At the moment, we see, error message basically.
But yeah, timeout does not have.
Timeout doesn't have. Also, at the moment, when there is a complete state, there is also a possibility that something did not import. For example, here, exactly. So when we see the details button, it actually means that it was a partially completed import and not like fully completed one. And this is what we can see at the moment, like the errors. But we don't see the like which MR it was or which issue did not import. So we don't have this information like, I don't know, where visible, I guess. So this is for the group. And now when we go to the project import, how do we see it?
So for projects, we have actually more data than group right now, which is this basically drop down, right? You can see details of which items or how many items of each type were imported, right? And what the front end does is it's based on this stat, which are they're called stats, And if they're all complete, it's considered fully complete. And if there's something which is incomplete, we have this partially completed state, and it kind of highlights which types of data were not complete.
And then also, we see the C failures.
So these failures is a kind of it's a details page. It lists each failure individually, and users can quickly see which type of failure was not imported, and it comes with a link, right?
Exactly, and the details of the error that caused the failure. Okay.
Right now, it's not really actionable, I would say. It's just information, right? So you know this has errors, but you can't really retry or you can probably manually copy paste that, but other than that, nothing else you can do.
Right. When we go back to the previous page, this is the page. This is a page when you want to import a project, right? So it's not the history page yet. It's the when you want to import the project, and this page would be specific to importer because we have more than one importer. So I think if we go back to import project, this is for GitHub, but if we go back to import project,
there's no back from this page, but yeah, I'll open a new tab. So if you try to import projects, obviously apart from GitHub, you can do like Bitbucket and
let's see what Bitbucket does. And what's in there? I guess there's no. Okay.
Bitbucket server is easier, so it's something very similar. Like you just give a URL, username, password, or token, and when you click on this, you're supposed to see a very similar UI, but it's not exactly the same. Again, each page is slightly different.
Okay. Okay.
Do I have
but in this case,
credentials? I can't remember. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say that maybe in this case, so what we know about the let's say the starting pages of like the listing of what you can import as like in projects from different importers, they differ. That's one point. But what I wanted to say is that so this is like, you can choose the project to import or re-import, and you have as Justin just said, you have the information here. And then you can see failures. It's a new page which is even more precise information. And then, but there's also project history page, right? There's also that one.
Yes, so the project history page, okay, it looks like this, but I'll start from the top. So it's shared between different importers for project, but it's in here. And it basically looks like this, right? So each import has basically one entry per import, right? And one thing to note is that again, it's a different page, so it's not feature complete as this page. So we have here partially completed for this project, right? But even the history for this project only says complete. It doesn't give more details or a warning that this is partial and not fully complete.
Yes, it's a little bit different. It has the details button for the failed, but it doesn't show the same. It doesn't. It shows it on this page. It's not a new page. It showed differently than what we saw for the summary of the import. Also, this is also GitHub import here, right? But it's it shows the summary in a different way.
Okay.
And this is the state that we have right now. And anything else to say here?
Maybe let's compare that with the group. So at the group level, we have this direct transfers basically this is the main import page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which you also have these states, although we currently do not have partially completed.
Mm-hmm.
If it's complete, it just says complete, even though there might be issues. And similarly, we have the history page, which can be accessed here. I just close this one. And it's a very similar picture here, with the difference that maybe there are a bit more details, which also not super helpful because it doesn't show you which elements failed or how many of them failed. But it does list kind of the errors, right? And as we saw earlier, we have these failures even for a complete import.
Okay. Okay, great. So maybe we can now talk a little bit about the epic that we have, the comprehensive results from direct transfer, and what we can.
Yeah. So if go ahead.
Yeah. So you can go back to the epic as you did. Okay. So this is epic. And yeah, let's start with this issue. In this issue, we are talking about the badges, right? Because for now, this is for the direct transfer. At the moment, the badges we can see for direct transfer is completed and failed, and I think also not started, but there is no partially completed.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
So for this, just we've discussed this for a while, so just a quick summary. Right now it says just says complete, right? And even though if you look at the history, it does show some kind of errors. So what we will need here is to show partially complete here. What you need is both the status should be correct, right? And we'll need a stats object. The stats object will look something like I think this issue, this issue, right? So it will show fetched and imported, right? So fetched is how many issues are available, and how many issues are imported successfully, right? And obviously, if the two numbers for each type matches, then it's complete. If there's even one number that doesn't match, then it's partially complete.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's how we'll display the label on the front end.
Yes, this information is coming from the back end, then the front end uses it to show the partially completed or completed batch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then the second issue in this epic is to show exactly which resources were not migrated. So again, right now we show the details, so we show the errors, but we do not show like which exactly MR or issue did not migrate, and this is what we want to implement in this issue. That would should look similar to what we have for the GitHub importer.
Yeah, basically this one.
Yes. Now,
okay.
And so the question, like, what are the stuff that's yes, I guess you said, Justin, before that the backend would need to send this information, right? The what we see here.
Yes. So yeah, so this is a very new page for a GitHub import, right? So this is the GitHub import details or failures, depending on how you call it. But this basically provides you detailed information on each item that was not imported, right? And currently this does not exist for direct transfer. or here,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll basically be reusing this page. And what we need from the backend would be endpoint or similar endpoint from what we have here right now, which is sorry. So this is currently import GitHub failures, right? And what this returns is each item that failed, right? Each failure here, which comes with a title, a link to the external source, and some details, right? And the details are currently very, I would say, displayed very simple, like in a, but mostly informational way. So we would need something similar for the direct transfer backends. Currently, we have this information, which A is not the same format, and B is kind of included in the only in the history page. So if we look at this entities endpoint, you'll see that there's also this kind of failures array, but it's kind of included for each element, right? And it's not specific to, like, for example, this import ID, bulk import ID, right?
Okay. All right. So I think the question that popped up when we first talked about it before we were recording is that, like, where in case of GitHub in project import, the summary with the stats and then see failures, it's visible on the page when you can start a new import, not on the project history page. It's a different one. So the question will be like, where this information of the details and see failures should go in case of direct transfer? Should it be the page when you can start your import or you can re-import, or the group history page? I think that's one question. The other, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other one was that for the GitHub, we on the project level. We cannot import group, but we import in project, we on the project level. When on the Git, with the GitLab direct transfer, we are on the group level in the UI at least. So the history page, so the import, starting the import in UI, it's on the group level. The history page, it's also on the group level. And I'm thinking that I wonder if, like, having the stats and the failures on the project level would not be better for the user, because, you know, it's like more drilled down. So yeah, I wonder, that's like one thing that I wonder. Also because, and the question is here that we can import the project only by direct transfer via the API. And then what happens is the import of this project, you know, the log of the project was imported without the group. Is it showed on the group import page? I guess not right now. So that's another question, and kind of like what situation. Okay, now you, Justin.
Okay, so if we want to kind of give feature parity between project and group, obviously we can add it here, right? So let's say this is called partially complete, and we can have a details drop down here, the same one that we have here, with a link to failures. Right?
And they will be on the group level.
Yes, this is on the group level, on the import page, the main import page, right? So this will give you information on the last import that happened, right? So if you try to re-import the same project again and again, you'll be able to see at least the last, what happened to the last import, right? For the import history, it's a bit more, I would say, comprehensive. You'll be able to see all of your previous imports. With, let's say this is like partially complete, you see details here. I would say there's nothing stopping us from adding it to both places, apart from, it's more work. And it's a bit repetitive, but it really depends on what would be useful for the user, right? Do they want to see previous imports, or do they want to see, the last import, like what, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess this kind of is a more of a UX question.
Yeah.
Usually, if you ask me, I'll be focused on a particular import, right? Or the last import,
The last one.
which would be, yeah. If it's fully complete, there's no reason to touch it again, right? If it's partially complete, maybe we can tweak something and then try again. Right. Now, what I'm saying is, there's not much value in looking at some import from 2 months ago that's was partially completed, or maybe there is, I don't know. So that's an open question that we still have. Another alternative is we can add a link from one page to the other, or to be precise, from this page to the history page. So let's say this reads as partially complete, right? If you, maybe we can add a link here, right below this badge that says, if you want to see more details, you click on it, and then it opens up this history page, which has the details, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like it with the link idea. Just one thing, like with the project, the ability of the import the project via the API is bothering me a bit, because like, where would I see it? Kind of like it would not be visible on the previous page, and probably also not on this one. So that's something, actually that's something to be checked.
Yeah. So that second part of your question is what happens to projects that were imported via API. For that, I think we need to test a bit. I haven't really tried that. And I'm not sure where it will appear, if at all, in the UI.
Okay.
I think I'm hoping it will show up here, right? But not sure.
Okay. All right. I think that we can stop for now. And this is okay. Let's stop recording.